I'm going to go ahead and get started so that we don't run out of time, because the three of us, we are talkers. So we are going to talk. So welcome everyone to our Developing a Plan, how site coordinators and admin can work together to design ELO-P plans. So unfortunately, all of our admin that were invited, they couldn't come because they're incredibly busy, as admin are. So you are going to listen to us and talk about our ELO plans and how we are working with our admin, or how we are, trying to work with our admin. So sit back and enjoy, and we are so happy to have you here. And I'm going to move on. So I am Cori Ovi. I am one of your collaborators today, and I will let the other two collaborators introduce themselves.
Hi, I am McIntyre, and I am excited to collaborate with you today.
My name is Tracy Ulibarri-Vasquez, and it is a pleasure to have all of you in our space with us today.
And of course, our final collaborator is you all, because this workshop really is about collaboration. So while we will be talking, we would also love it if you all chimed in, especially when we get to our breakout rooms, and you tell us what you know, because we all have something to give and something to share. So thank you for collaborating with us today. I want to give a little framing as to why we're here. And so the investment that has been made in after school in California is huge. It's an opportunity that we need to take advantage of, and it's amazing. And so we know that more money is needed, especially for our 7th through 12th graders. They were left out completely. And we know that especially smaller districts, or districts that don't have a huge Title I population, weren't given as much money as they need. We are working on that, but also we need to use what we were given, right? Like, we can't be like, we need more money, but then be like, but we're not going to use this money. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, if we want to show that we need more money, we need to use the money. And so we also know that for a lot of districts, not everyone has had an after school program or before school program. Not everyone has done expanded learning, or it's been fee-based. We have a lot of charter schools or private schools. So for those of you that are new to expanded learning, it's incredibly important to lean on people in your community who have done expanded learning. So if your district has a very robust expanded learning program, lean on your site coordinators, lean on those program managers. They got this. Like, this is not new for them, and they probably have a lot of ideas, and they're probably very, very excited. And then for those of you that don't have anything in your district, I guarantee you have CBOs. There are people in your community that have been providing this kind of program for your youth. So find them and use them. They are also very excited. Any of us that work with youth in the expanded learning field, like, we are so excited about this money. So find us and use us. And we need to remember that these people are the ones who kept everything going the last 2 years. Even when schools were closed, oftentimes expanded learning programs or childcare programs or daycares or preschools, they were open. They stayed open to support the youth and the community. And these are also programs that are usually historically pretty underfunded. And so they've been able to do some amazing things with no funding, with just the craziness of the last 2 years. So imagine what they can do with funding. It's going to be amazing. So that's all just to say, like, lean on those people, lean on those of us that are in the expanded learning field already. So what you can expect today, we just did the welcome, and then we're going to do something called connection before content, because that's what we at CAN, we all work with CAN outside of our regular jobs, California After School Network, and same with like ASAP Connect. We all believe that before we dive into content, we have to connect with each other. So we're going to do a little bit of that. And then the three of us, myself, Tracy, and Brazil, we're going to share a little bit about who we are, what we do, what we're doing with ELO-P, basically the why you should listen to us, like, why should you care? And then we'll have a little bit of question and answer from you guys. And then we'll do our breakout rooms so that you guys can get deeper into those conversations. And then we will have a reflection, and then everyone will go about their day. First, though, we're going to do a quick poll. We like to know who we have in the room. So Brazil or Tracy are going to drop a link into the chat, and that is going to take you to the poll. And as you answer, it's going to show us on the screen. So go ahead and click that link. Aha. So there we go. It's working. We have a school, district, county office of education. And if you put other and you feel like you would like to share, please feel free to share in the chat what your other is. Is everyone able to access the poll? Does no one want to access the poll? One of our others is Mizzen by Mott. Welcome. Thank you.
I love that app, by the way.
Right.
For those of you just joining us, I think we may have had a little connection issue for some. I'm dropping the link to the poll so that you can join us in looking at ways that we can collaborate.
Okay. Well, we'll move on from this slide. Just know that as we move forward, your poll is going to change. You can keep using the same link if you haven't already clicked it. So next we want to know, what is your role in ELO-P planning? You know, are you site leadership? Like, what do you do? Some district leadership, some site leadership. Anyone that just joined, we're doing a poll and you can find the link in the chat and you should be able to just click. I say we feel like we know what our other is. It's our Mizzen by Mott. Thank you for being here. A lot of district leadership, a lot of site leadership. Oh, here we go. Community organization lead. Shout out to our CBOs. Okay, so it looks like we got a lot of leadership in the room. Good to have leadership. And the next, okay, so this is going to create a word cloud. I don't know if you've seen the word clouds, but they're fun. So what is one word that describes your involvement in ELO planning? And so this does not have to be positive. We're very aware that some people are being left out of ELO-P planning, that they are not being brought to the table. So if your word is frustrated or invisible or not included, it's okay to put those words too. So one word that describes your involvement in ELO planning. It could also be exciting, overwhelming, impact, love it. So drop those words in there. New, yes.
Overwhelming.
Overwhelming. Immersed.
Anxious. You and everyone else. Disrespected. That's a very good word, actually, for this platform.
Overwhelming is huge.
Pressure. Overwhelming. That is huge. That's like our biggest word. That means many of you put in overwhelming. So it's good to know too. You're not the only ones. Everyone's feeling a little bit of sense of just, you guys have been giving a very big task, right? And it is overwhelming. That one's fun. So as I move on, you can, feel free to you can revisit later. But I'll screenshot this and I'll put it in the slides so that it goes out to everyone so you can see this, and maybe you print it out and put it on your wall and you can be like, look, everyone's overwhelmed. I'm not alone. Because it's always good that we don't feel alone. And then our final question is, what is a challenge you are running into with our new ELO-P funding? And we gave you a few things here. If there's like a different one that we didn't touch on, feel free to pop that in the chat. But so we have collaboration, pitching your ideas, how to advocate for what you need, how to run an expanded learning program, where to go for support. And then, yeah, like I said, if there's something that we didn't cover in there, please feel free to pop it in the chat. Collaboration, how to run an expanded learning program. That's a big one. Where to go for support. Well, hopefully we can clear that question up for you all today. Actually, looks like collaboration came off the board. So maybe, so that's good. Collaboration isn't something that people are struggling with. That's good. Okay. Thank you guys for participating. We love to know who's in the room. We love to know what you all are struggling with so we know what to give you so we can hopefully send you on your way later today a little less frustrated with a little bit more knowledge. Before we dive into our content, we are going to do the connection before content that I promised you. So we love to take a little bit of a mindful moment, ground ourselves in the space, and then we will go into breakout rooms and we will connect a little bit. So we're going to do something called waterfall breathing. I don't know if any of you have used this before. Feel free to turn off your camera. I'm going to leave mine on so I can show you what to do, and I'm going to look silly. And I can thank Mark Drews, our Region 3 lead, for teaching me this, but it's great. So what we're going to do is you're going to sit in your chair. And so we're going to, as we breathe in through our nose, we're going to stretch high up to the sky. We're just going to stretch out our body. And then as we breathe out, we're going to breathe out through our mouths, and we're going to roll down as we breathe out. And we're going to like stay down for a second, and then we'll breathe in and we'll go up. We'll do that 5 times, and I will lead you through that. So let's start. We're going to take a big breath in through your nose and stretch up. And we're going to breathe out and roll down. And then big breath in as you come up. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And roll down as you breathe out. All the way into your lap. And then breathe in through your nose and stretch up. And then roll it out as you breathe down and breathe out. Do it 2 more times. Breathe in through your nose and stretch up. Breathe out through your mouth as you roll down. And final one, breathe in and stretch up. Stretch, we're gonna stretch for a long time. And breathe out as you roll down. Go ahead, just stay down as long as you need to. And come up slowly. And join us back in the space when you are ready. If you need to stay resting in your lap for a moment, go ahead. So I like that one. I'm not a huge fan of mindful moments and all that stuff because of who I am as a person, but Mark Drew showed me that and I really liked it. I think it's because it's like the stress, the stretching with the combination of the breathing. It just helps ground me and I really like it. And I think kids really like it. So feel free to try that with other people. As you come back into the space, I'm going to send everyone off into breakout rooms so that you can check in, and we'll spend about 10 minutes in there, maybe a little less. And I have a guiding question, and that is, what is your experiences with collaboration? But feel free to talk about whatever came up for you, whatever is on your mind, whatever, speak your truth. It does not have to be the guiding question. And the way that this works is when you go into the room, then everyone's going to get a chance to speak. So let everyone speak first, and then you can kind of dive into a conversation. So I'm opening the rooms now, and go ahead. Perfect. Welcome back to the space.
Welcome back. Thank you for those Ada and Jeff that were in my room. We had a good conversation.
Perfect. Yeah, we love the connection. So I hope that was nice and has now kind of grounded you in the space, because you know we're all always running around like crazy, right? So it's nice to be able to sit and talk for a second. So now we are going to, so Tracy, Brazil, and I are going to share a little bit about ourselves and who we are, why we're here, and then we'll have a question and answer portion afterwards. So if, as we're talking, you think of questions, pop them in the chat and we will answer them during that question and answer section. So with that, I'm going to give it to Tracy.
Hello, my name is Tracy Ulibarri-Vasquez. I am the administrator for a CBO that is contracted with our local district. So I work with San Bernardino City Unified School District. So we're a large district. We have had the fortunate experience of being very collaborative with our district. Of course, we've just had a change in district leadership, but it's just been a good thing, like really good thing, that they've always invited the CBOs to come to the table and really listen to us, to our concerns, to our needs. And that's been very beneficial for us because we are able to voice from the field, from our actual employees, what it is that we need, the support that they need, and what they're hoping to gain and gather. I think in every district, it doesn't matter. You do have some people who are not as supportive of after school programs. And so those ones we have to obviously work with still and really try to get them to understand, like, these are not the regular school day kids until after school time and then they're after school kids. These are our kids collaboratively and collectively from morning to afternoon. And it is our desire to provide to them the most beneficial services across the board. And so it's been good for us because they have really listened to our voice. They have been willing to understand what our needs are. And in this unprecedented time of such new funding, we have been able to really collaboratively work together with our district to really kind of share our ideas. They sent out information to all our principals about, we need your wish list for STEM activities for next year, because it is something that, because we're working collaboratively, and our district has moved into a whole STEM, that's our focus. So we have been able to put out in the principals, we want 3D printers, we want this, we want our after school staff to be trained and supported with these processes, because this is the focus of our school sites. And so for us, that's been exciting and such a good thing. And I really do, and I'm very grateful for the fact that we do have that collaborative relationship with our district. I know that for some people that's an issue, and especially now with funding that doesn't have such strict guidelines, or we're not sure what to do with it yet. Really just coming to the people who are providing services for you already and really asking them, what are your needs? What is it that your field is looking for? Because that's a huge thing. It's very difficult sometimes to navigate through disconnected administrators or that make decisions for districts without really presenting or asking the people on the field. And it's frustrating because we know what we can do. Like Cori had mentioned earlier, after school programs are historically underfunded. We are a nonprofit as well, so we do supplement some of our funding through grants and others. But even still, with this new pot that we can all kind of pull from, it's really important that you are also seeking, and we are collaboratively working together to meet the needs of these students and seeking out the people who are in fact doing that currently. Brazil, I'm going to pass it to you.
All right, well, thank you so much. And so my experience is different than Tracy's. Our expanded learning programs are hardly collaborated with at all. So we haven't been really invited to many of the collaboration discussions. And that has really frustrated me in many ways, just because it's not that we haven't voiced the fact that we know that this is happening, and we know how it's supposed to be used and where it's supposed to be used, and seeing it go elsewhere. And so, as we all know, we were speaking even in our earlier breakout, it's like staffing is really such a challenge, that the apportionment that we were sort of given, in my opinion, like the scraps, is basically going to a vendor to come in and staff programs that we've been trying to run all year, understaffed. And so in our situation, it's like, it's one of those things where, yes, technically we have received something, but it really hasn't come to really, I don't think we're going to see a full benefit from that. I mean, yes, we will have hands and, people at work, but the additional things that we really should kind of be able to provide, we won't be having access to that necessarily. And, I'm coming from being starting as a frontline, staff worker. I work with first graders when I first started. And then I moved to, a site coordinator. And now, again, I'm overseeing 12 sites in the district. And so I've seen a lot, and I know a lot about how things work, and what things will work, what things won't work. And I also believe in bringing those voices forward. And so that is sort of where we are in our ELO-P journey. It's, again, pretty frustrating, but I'm still hopeful, because, again, this isn't temporary in the allocations that we'll get. So we will have future, time to kind of figure things out. So I'm glad about that. But, again, it's frustrating when you kind of know these things and are not invited to those conversations. So that's sort of the perspective that I'm coming from. And now I will hand it over to Miss Cori.
So hello, everyone. I'm Cori Ovey. I am also a CBO. I'm a nonprofit in a small rural community. And historically, my organization has worked with 6th through 12th graders, and has been fully like donation based. We don't have, that was how we paid for things. It was all fundraising. And last year when everything was shut down, the county asked us to provide a distance learning hub for youth who could, because obviously in a rural area, we have a problem with internet. And because working parents, like, they needed to, someone has to help the children so the parents can work. So we said, yes, of course. So we did that. And then the childcare coordinating task force was like, oh, hey, we gave this survey, and 250 plus parents said that they don't have access to school age childcare over the summer, because in our area that has always been a problem, and it got worse during COVID. So they were like, could you like extend the hub, for the summer, of course, with no funding. So we were like, okay, like, we'll see what we can do. And our county Health and Human Services Department actually gave us a little bit of money so we could offer subsidies for families. But so we ended up running a 6-week summer day camp for the first of its kind in my community. Like, YMCA has come out here before and run camps, but their camps are always really small. They're not able to like take our local childcare funding because they weren't able to get licensed or anything. So really first of the kind in our county. And it was really popular. So we're doing it again this summer. And yet I have a county superintendent who is telling the schools, like, give the money back and take the summer off. You're all tired. So, and he's very much like, the nonprofits are filling the holes. We're all fine. We don't want this money. So I'm really coming from the perspective of I am filling the holes that the community needs filled, because families need this, right? Like this is just something that families need. Youth need this. The kids are not doing okay. And so I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I am just working on how we get these districts on board, how we show them, yes, we can do this. If you don't have the capacity, somebody else does. Here's this system of support that you can tie into. So I'm really coming at it from an outside. I'm an outsider, and I'm trying to get my districts on board with using this ELO-P funding, whether they use it themselves or whether, we take it over. But either way, I have children in my community. I have families in my community that need these programs, and we don't have them. There's only a few schools total in my area that have any sort of after school program that doesn't cost a ton of money. So it's important to me. So that's my perspective. And now I'm going to stop screen sharing because I would love for us to just have more of a conversation. So if you guys have any questions, if there's anything you want to know, anything you want to ask us, now is the time.
And I would just like to add, again, in the spirit of the convening and our workshop goal of establishing collaboration points, it is a time for us to really share and kind of mix our ideas up and take bits and pieces and try to see how you can imagine those in your programs. And so we really, it's all about you all. So again, like we were saying, we have no intention of, just talking at you. We really want to get your ideas moving and in the space. So please join in.
Hello, I can start off. My name is Barbara, and I am the Director of Finance for Tracy Learning Center. We are a TK through 12th charter school system. And this is actually the first time that we would think about implementing an after-school program. We've never done it before in our 12 years of running. The only thing we have had is a program called Champions offers after-school care for some of our students. That's been pretty much all of our experience, and Champions very much runs their own program. We have nothing to do except providing the space. But with these funds, we now have the opportunity to, it sounds like, create a wraparound program for our kids, where it's not just childcare, it's tutoring for those students that need to, have additional tutoring, field trips, which is something that with funding being so low and being in the Central Valley, a lot of our kids don't get to go on field trips. And these are opportunities that are now being open to our kids. But our biggest, I guess, starting from scratch, it's exciting because we kind of get to do whatever we want, but it's also scary because we're not quite sure what to do or how to do it. But it sounds like the key here is really getting our teachers and our staff members to have their opinions heard, because as admins, we kind of know what we want to do, but the staff truly know the students and what their needs are. So I'm just curious to hear. I've heard surveys sounded like it was a good way to go about it. I don't know if you guys had any further ideas about how to get staff input on what they think is best. A survey just seems great, but I would like to know what other things there are as well that we could offer.
Hello, everyone. I'm sorry.
So we have provided services for charter schools as well within my CBO. I do have a question for you. Are you planning on using your regular school day staff to staff an after school program?
So I think in speaking with our CEO, that is her intention. That is kind of where we want to start off. And then if we see that it's just not possible to do with our current staff, look at the plan B, which would be to staff not within our own staff.
So I just asked that because that's a good just to make sure you denote that or have that in your mind initially, because we do have, we did offer opportunities to, even though we were an outside provider to the charter schools, to allow the school staff to come in and try to fill that need first. But a lot of times they didn't want to, just because it makes for a longer day. So our CBO did come in to help provide staffing needs and then programmatic needs, but we did work collaboratively with the charter school to kind of establish what it is that they were looking for, what they were wanting. So we do basically offer, like we'd offer enrichment, homework support, like within our programs, except our paid charter school programs. We do stress that we are not a homework completion after school program. We are a homework assistance after school program, just because although I know that's a lot of the need within our districts, it is something we do like to kind of always just gladly hand that responsibility back over to their parents, like to make sure they are also interactive within their students' educational journey. So we do help assist with homework, but ultimately they do need to finish that at home. And then we kind of just have some different components. So those are some things that I think, even in talking to the teachers, as you said, meeting with them, kind of getting what are the needs of the students, what are you seeing the educational needs that can help be met into the after school space, and then just to really delineate with teachers, especially, that it is not an extension of the school day, it's an extension of the educational experience, because the last thing kids want to do is be in class for 6 hours and then walk into something as structured as class again. We do a lot of things that's disguised learning. We are teaching them, they are learning, they're having fun, so they don't realize they're learning. And that's a big component, I think, of really having an successful after school space. It can't mirror the regular school day.
One other thing I would add, Tracy, that was all really, really great advice with that. I think I would also add, along with, talking and working and surveying your staff, also really look at the students, because again, they have been doing all kinds of things during the pandemic that, sometimes as we're sort of in this weird space of trying to act normal, and all of that, sometimes the brain doesn't shift into that they've been doing, like making YouTube videos, like maybe that should be a class. So it's really an opportunity to kind of ask them to, like, what are their interests, and tie them into some of your planning, along with the skills of the manpower that's going to make it happen, to see how you can kind of make a combination that works.
The first director we were contracted with many years ago said something so profound to us, and I've taught it to my staff every year since. She told us, kids vote with their feet. If they love your program, they're going to be there. If they don't, they're not going to go. And so, just like Brazil said, really including the kids in the planning process of that, especially since it's on precedent. And, of course, to the limitations that we can get information from kids, I think is a great idea. So thank you, Brazil, for reminding us all of that.
Dennis, was there something you wanted to share with us?
There is. Hi, everyone.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm a program director for Expanded Day, and I was just sharing some ways that you can involve the different voices, specifically students. Do not leave students and staff out. We have a long history and legacy in Expanded Day of making sure we have youth voice and choice, but not just that, but listening to them so that we can learn. Learning by listening is a big deal in where education should be going. And I wanted to say you can convene students, small groups of students, to get their voice and do focus groups. You can either you should preset those questions to help them engage and spark conversation. Same thing with staff. You should convene some of your staff in small groups. It can be site groups, it can be different experiences. It's a way to make sure you develop a dialogue with them, because this should be ongoing process. The program plan for ELO-P should be a living document, not one set in stone. And so getting them engaged, because this is a rollout. And I was a part of the rollout of ACEs. And what it looks like and sounds like and feels like now is not what it looks like and sounds like and feels like 3 years from now. And so I think with working, I'm a school district, and it can feel like pushing a stone, a huge stone, when you're talking about a rollout, because you have the people who are weighted down by what we used to do. You have people who are weighted down by fears. And then you also have people who are like, let's get this momentum going and know how to engage the stakeholders. In addition, I encourage you to put in people who have traditionally supported expanded learning opportunities. They don't always maybe support your program directly, but maybe indirectly. Social workers, after school and before school, deal with a lot of parents. And we see things that sometimes the school day misses. I think thinking about a nurse. Over the years that I've been working in expanded day learning, we have a lot of more medical needs during the expanded day learning hours. I think looking at your community partners, so many opportunities to engage those voices. Stakeholder meetings, I think, are a must, because if anything, what they do is they start the dialogue of not just what we used to do and what we currently do, but also what we could do. We're trying to move in the direction of what possibilities for kids. And for some reason, it seems so difficult to get people to close their eyes and say, what can we imagine is possible for kids? In order to do that, I just want to say this: you can't keep using the same people at the table. Because clearly, if everything they were doing was working by itself, it would already be going in that direction. This is a time to be inclusive. When we talk about diversity, inclusive, we're not just talking about race and gender. We're also talking about being inclusive of ideas, of diverse people, a diverse pool of ideas. So I just want to say that small group sessions, focus groups, surveys go a long way. Focus groups go a much further way in interpreting those surveys.
Thank you so much, Dennis, for that great input. One other resource I would like to just put out there for all of you, if you're not already familiar with it, and I'm going to post this link actually in the chat as well. But since you are starting off coming from this place of we're creating a new program, really, the California After School Network has done a fantastic job of establishing with the CDE the quality standards of expanded learning programs in California. It's just, there's 12 specific things, but if you read that documentation, it really does give you some ideas of what you are including. One of them is youth voice, one of them is inclusion. And so just really giving you the totality of the picture of what an ideal after school program or expanded learning program is going to look like. And so just so you have that information as well, it also does offer the link to the quality standards assessment tool, which is a living document as well, kind of through our CQI process, which is the continuous quality improvement tool, all which can be found on that link. These are tools we use in the after school programs because we have ideas. Sometimes they fail miserably, and we have to kind of work through the process of moving forward and finding something that's going to be more effective. And those are the tools that we use in after school to do that.
So I put the link in the chat for the California After School Network. You can get a lot of more information and resources and opportunities to network. We also wanted to share with you, if you are not aware of who your regional lead is from the County Office of Ed, you can use the link there to find out who they are, where you can contact them. They are there to help you all through this process. So any of the challenges that you are up against, you know, not only use the power of collaboration and just sharing, but also go to people that are there and in place that have been working with a lot of other people in the same situation. So it's a wonderful place to go and get that access. And then which, I'm sorry, Shannon, I'm not quite sure. I know you just sent me a private message, but I'm not sure which one is not giving you access.
Oh, I tried joining before this started, the what was it called, the coordinator, site coordinator.
Oh, the site coordinator network?
Yeah, and there's like, I couldn't find a link anywhere on the website, but I did through your guys' app. And when I hit join, it says you need an access code and there's a place to type it in, but I don't know how to get an access code.
Okay, well,
We will contact our tech support because it should not be that way. So let me see if I can get them right now to fix that by the time this is over.
Oh.
and just to all of you, which we will have a little bit more information on the California After School Network, but if you sign up for the newsletter, you will also be looped in to the network information, and we can kind of, in the meantime, at least you can get connected and get, started. But yeah, we'll get that fixed. That is a bummer. But thank you for letting us know that while we're sharing it. So, all right. So does anyone else want to share like where they're at, what's going on? I mean, Cori, I know we're going to go in breakout rooms. Do we have, are you guys awake? Did anybody come back from lunch? I'm kind of curious. Okay. So where are we at, Miss Cori?
If no one has any questions, we can move into the breakout rooms where we can continue these conversations and they can get a little bit deeper and a little bit more specific. I have to leave at 2:30. So how we're going to do this is you all are going to be able to choose your breakout room. So Brazil is going to be in room 1. And so remember, Brazil is a school-based program who is not really being invited to the table with ELO-P funds planning. So that's really her perspective. And so she can talk a lot about that and what she's doing to meet the needs of her community and try to advocate for a space at the table. And then Tracy will be in room 2, and she is a community-based organization that is really involved in planning. So that's going to be her perspective. So probably a wealth of knowledge as to what they're doing with that ELO-P funding. And then I am going to stay in this main room. So everyone is welcome. Anyone who wants to talk is welcome to join me. And I will be talking. I'm a community-based organization that has a county that wants nothing to do with ELO-P funding. So I'm navigating that. So I'm going to open the rooms and you guys can make choices. And then Brazil, do you guys want to come back at 2:30 and then you can walk them through the site coordinator network and finish up?
Yep, sounds good. Thank you.
Perfect.
See you
Okay,
on the
rooms
other
are
side.
open.
Okie dokie. Let's see if I can get it in order. What we wanted to do is one, just sort of take a little bit of time to one, share with you about the site coordinator network again, a little bit further, and then for us to just really briefly kind of talk about what came up for us, where we're at, and where we plan on going. Let's see.
So let's kind of go with that. I mean, I know in the group that I was just in, what came up for you? Maybe if we can just kind of like share a 1-sentence thought about how you're feeling now, more informed, still as confused. If we all just want to kind of share out something regarding that, that'd be great.
Yeah, you can just put it right in the chat. Or you can say it out loud. That would be fantastic as well.
I think something that came up for me was that this is not something new, that this is something that we've always done and that we have an opportunity to pour more into.
And thank you for sharing that perspective, because there are some districts and some where these are established and we're kind of just building on what we have. And I think the people that come from that side of the field, it really is, I think, now part of our responsibility to really come together and help the ones that are starting off brand new programs. Like I am a big believer in, and somebody taught me this who mentored me, was we stand on the shoulders of the people that came before us. And so for those of us who have been in this field for a long time, really just now carrying the weight of what's coming and really taking that responsibility that we've seen changes in this for so many years. I started doing after school programs in 2005. We barely got funding in 1998. It has come a far completely different way since then, but really just seeing the excitement and this unprecedented time is exciting.
Yeah, it really is. Anything coming up for everybody else? Anyone else? We thank you for hanging around. So yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there's still so much more work to do. I think in the conversations that we've had today, I mean, we've been very fortunate enough to really be able to check in and connect with folks that are feeling all different kinds of ways. And so I think that all of those perspectives are so valuable in like imagining new solutions. Of course, if you can avoid pitfalls, do it, so that's sort of why I find it, I guess I find hope still in my situation, just because I know that really tapping into others is going to give me some direction in how I can kind of better the situation. And again, let me put up
so just a couple resources. I know we talked about a lot of these within our breakout rooms, but the Site Coordinator Network is an amazing resource for you to be able to join. We are working on that link, by the way, Shannon. I have our tech person looking at it right now, so you know. The Site Coordinator Network does have 5 different components, which we concentrate on is promising practices, needs and challenges, policy and advocacy, resource brokers, and communications and convenings. We are the network that is responsible for putting out the Site Lead Symposium as well, or the Site Coordinator Symposium. I'm sorry, in my district, they're called Site Leads, so I always forget to use the right state verbiage. But we are very much so about being a part of the initiatives, resources and promising practices, convening. We work directly with the CDE Expanded Learning Division. We work directly with the California After School Network, ASAP Connect, and other statewide intermediaries that come together to support us. The Site Coordinate Network is not just for site coordinators. It is for anyone involved with expanded learning stakeholders. We have some parents even involved, just because they want to have a voice and hear what's going on. So I just really would like all of you to jump in board with this, and just know too that our heart in part of the Site Coordinator Network is really, we are part of the leadership team, is really making sure that all of these resources are reflective to the current and working culture. We have kind of even changed our focus to make sure that these things are post-pandemic resources, not pre-pandemic, because we had a lot of great ideas, very different things prior to the pandemic. And now we are really trying to meet the current needs of the site coordinators on the field, the staff on the field. We know there's staffing challenges. We know a lot of people are working and doing this work at a limited capacity of staff, and really just helping them to see the resources that are available for them in this immediate time, and not trying to, make it picturesque, knowing that that's not the case for them right now. So that is the Site Coordinator Network. We do have different membership tiers. We are currently going to start recruiting again for our action teams. We are all a committee chair over one of those committees, and so just really recruiting people who are interested in maybe advocating or helping to come up with those promising practice, or really just being involved some of those things. We would like you to be part of our action team if you're interested in that. And then of course we have supporters, and those are all of you, the ones who just need to be involved, want to see make sure their voice is heard, so that we can collaboratively and collectively come up with solutions. Just a couple other resources that we have, or is the main, well, let me say, so we have the Site Coordinator Symposium coming up. That is going to be June 14th through the 17th. It is very possible for you to still send your site coordinators. If you yourself want to come, please do look into it. We would love to have them there. We are already planning for next year's, but we also have next week The CalSAC is another organization that I'm involved with, and just another resource for you as well is that the CalSAC does offer training to after-school professionals in the fields with topics that are specific to the field. If you are interested in maybe hearing any of the training or seeing the list of what we do train, visit their website. Next Wednesday, they are also having a mental health convening. We will be talking and kind of doing some workshops on understanding the mental health and wellness of youth and adults. So in program, so if you're interested, please make sure you visit that link. And that is next Wednesday. I will be one of the presenters for that as well. It's been an honor and a privilege to be in space with you today. It is always our desire to really just be sure that we are having open dialogue, and just some of the other tools that I did mention you can find at the California After School Network. And that's the CUSAC tool, the CQI tool, your regional leads you can find from the CDE website. And then once again, if any of you have questions, you want to reach out to us directly, please do. I know Brazil just put her email address in the chat, and I will do that as well. And while I'm doing that, I will let Brazil finish us out.
All right. Well, again, thank you, Tracy, for going through all of that fantastic information. I wish everyone luck. I wish everyone strength and peace through any storms you may encounter. And just, keep the faith, and please just move in the spirit of collaboration. I think that there's absolutely like comfort and strength in, harvesting talents and resources from other people that are going through the same things. And then also, I think like our participant earlier, really look at talking to everyone that is involved and really looking at what you need and different ways that you can do it. Don't be limited by old thinking. This is like new territory, and anything that, again, you can think up that's not whatever it says it, whatever, how does he say it, Tracy? I always say it wrong. If it's not written there, you can do it. So good luck in creating those partnerships. Those of you that are struggling, those that have them, please continue to advocate for those of us that are struggling, because I think that, in expanded learning, we tend to run in different circles and have different, radius of connection. So use those to all of our benefits. We really appreciate it. And, again, thanks so much for hanging with us and staying, and really hope to see you involved in our network, or at least coming on to check those resources. They really are valuable. So
I have a question real quick. Sorry, Shani, what district were you with? Just because I think I want to reach out to you and just want to know how to contact you. Yeah, you.
Planada Elementary School District.
PLANATO?
ADA. Planada.
Oh, ADO. Okay.
ADA.
Planada. Okay.
Planada. PLANADA. All A's.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thank
Any
you.
other last comments, last reflections, one word as you exit this space, how you're feeling, what you feel like? You could put in the chat, say it out loud as you leave us today. I'm going to say mine, which is my word for everything, is impact. We can make a good impact. Hopeful. That's an awesome one. Thankful. Thank you for that. We appreciate it. Better. Good. Yeah. That's what we want. Everybody to feel better. Like Disney says, we're all in this together. But that's what Melissa just put, not alone. We're all in this together, right? So thank you so much for being in space with us today. We really appreciate it. And thank you for collaborating with us in conversation and thoughts as well. And we hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.